Okay, this reading is called What Makes Popcorn Pop? And I'm going to look at this information up here. It says, find this information. In the reading, I'm going to be thinking about where do I find the information for what makes popcorn pop? Does all corn make popcorn? How long have people been eating popcorn? This is extra information from my teacher. They want me to read each paragraph and stop and ask myself, does that paragraph help me explain why popcorn pops? I'm going to try to put a star by a paragraph if you think it does, and then underline 3 to 4 words in that paragraph that describe something you need in your model. So we are doing this reading today to learn more about why popcorn pops so that we can model what happens with the particles inside popcorn that make it pop. Here I go. What makes popcorn pop? Popcorn is one of America's most beloved snacks. For many years, Americans have eaten popcorn at home, at sports games, and at the movie theater. But what makes popcorn pop? And why doesn't all corn pop when heated? The answer is simple science. Popcorn is a special kind of corn. It is the only variety that pops. Inside each kernel of popcorn is a tiny droplet of water. Here's a picture here. There's a little blue water droplet here. Around the water is a hard shell called a hull. As the popcorn becomes hot, the water turns into a gas, which is called steam. This builds pressure inside the kernel. When the pressure is too high for the hull, pop! The kernel explodes and a fluffy new piece of popcorn is born. Now, this is the paragraph that I think maybe has information that we need to model. So I'm going to come back and put a star by this paragraph later. And I'm going to go back and reread this paragraph at the end so that I remember what information I need when I'm modeling later. Though Americans eat more popcorn than any other country in the world today, archaeologists have found popcorn kernels in New Mexican caves they believe to be more than 4,000 years old. This means this snack was part of Native American cultures for centuries. When Spanish explorers arrived in Mexico, they discovered the Aztec Indians used popcorn to make the jewelry, headdresses, and ornaments they wore during popcorn dances. The Indians used to tell a legend explaining the popcorn phenomenon. The legend claimed a tiny demon lived inside each kernel of popcorn. When the demon's house was heated, he would get so angry he would explode. I'm going to come back one more time because in a minute you're all going to go and model what happens to the particles. So I want you to think about particles when I read this paragraph one more time. Inside each kernel of popcorn is a tiny droplet of water, liquid water. Around the water is a hard shell called a hull. As the popcorn becomes hot, the water turns into a gas, which is called steam. This builds pressure inside the kernel. When the pressure is too high for the hull, pop! The kernel explodes and a fluffy new piece of popcorn is born. I want you to make sure you have this. If you need to come back and look at it 2 or 3 times, that's fine. Use this information while you model today.